Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release, and we've just scratched the surface of the first video game releases in December 1982.
Let's take a look at number one. Is this Ms. Pac-Man or Pac-Man?
Pac-Man.
Yes. Number two, is this TaxScan or Defender?
This is TaxScan.
You got it. Number three, is this Space Duel or Starflight?
Ooh, I know, and that was the third part in Asteroids, the sequel to Asteroids, Space Duel. All right, the last game we were checking out was the brand new game Bermuda Triangle for the Atari VCS. Let's see what our next game is. We're going to play some games on home computers because we play every video game here. This is Birds on the TRS-80 color computer. Let's check out Birds. Believe it or not, this is the very first video game where the title is only Birds. I don't know how that works out. This is the 175th game we've seen for the TRS-80 color computer, so the Coco has a lot of games. And it's by Tom Mix Software. All I have is an advertisement for it. Where is Birds? Birds. I don't... Oh, I'm sorry. It's called Bird Attack here. Fast-paced machine language arcade game. Shoot the birdmen before they descend upon you. Watch out for their bombs. This is the 12th game we've seen by Tom Mix Software so far. They've done games like Caterpillar Attack that we saw, Protectors, and they are the kings of Donkey Kong clones with Donkey King. Let's pop in Birds and play. This is by Andrew Hubble. Tom Mix Software in the beginning of December 1982. Way to go, Andrew. So this one should be machine language. Birds. I want fast birds on the Coco. This is the second time we've seen Andrew Hubble on Chronologically Gaming. He also did Maze Race. There we go. Yeah, a lot of times we have video games that have different names based on whatever the ad is, whatever the front of the box is, and whatever the first title screen is. You can see here it says Birds. There's usually a discrepancy. Here on the show, we say whatever the front of the box says for the main title, but then I also include all the other titles, or what the game would have been called. Enter your name. I love it when games want to know my name. And our difficulty level, we get difficulty levels. Okay, let's start with 2 and see what it's like. Yes, so this is Birds. Awesome. It is a shoot 'em up. I can move left, I can move right, but I'm not a plane. Check it out. At the bottom of the screen, I'm about to get... The birds are not dropping eggs. I'm just going to say the birds are trying to poop on us. They're starting now, and we're just going to have tons and tons of video games with birds flying poop at us. It all started here with lots of other games. We don't have a ton of sound effects, but even though it's a machine language coded game, it seems we have a little bit of slowdown that's happening on the screen, but well done animation. The birds look really good. That's right. Manley brought up Alfred Hitchcock. The movie rendition. Well, we have seen Poltergeist on the Coco. Why didn't they get the rights to Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds? It would take place in a telephone booth or something like this. But yeah, it is exactly what you see on the screen. I am moving left, I'm moving right, and I fire. I have a turbo, though. If I hold down the button, it automatically starts firing off a couple bullets. Looks like I got 2 shots each time, but I need to be a little bit more strategic with this. I also am expecting these birds to behave a little bit differently. Because whenever I fire the shot, it really doesn't matter where I hit them. Uh-oh. Oh. In the top left of the screen, looks like houses are my display of lives. I think that's houses, I'm not sure. And we got a high score table. Very cool. Now, I've been categorizing the video games we've seen that have temporary high score tables, which means after you turn the game off, it resets. But there is some high score video games that we played very rarely that allow you to save it to disk, and then you can load the high score table later, which is kind of cool. This one does not. Same game again? Yes. And you can increase the difficulty. Basically, it's just going to increase the speed of the game. You can see we have birds relentlessly coming down on top of us. When you clear the screen, it just goes to another one after that. Yeah, and I was really expecting this to be like Phoenix. I mean, come on, it's birds, but no, it does not play like Phoenix whatsoever. And Manley's bringing up even more Hitchcock references. I love it. We are going to see Alfred Hitchcock video games, but much later. Not yet. So the response for the game is very, very simple. While the animation is really good for the birds, and you're not playing as a plane, you're actually a person at the bottom of the screen. The movement left and right it chugs a little bit, but it's really not that bad when you think of all the games you can play. We played a lot of games that are like this, though. Move left, move right is fire. We call them fixed shooters, or shooters with limited shooting ability on the screen. This is the 402nd fixed shooter we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming. That's a lot of moving left, right, and firing. This is the 233rd fixed shooter we've seen across all home computers so far. And this is the 18th fixed shooter on the Coco. This computer already has 18 games that function very similarly to this. Of course, some of the best you play, oh, he got me, on the Coco at this point would be Colorpede, Galax-Attack, Invader's Revenge, which is really cool. It does a little twist on the shooter genre, and Astroblast. So this is very, very simple affair, but it's an okay arcade game. It does involve birds. We've seen plenty of games with birds up to this point. The analog joystick works fairly well. We're not having to control this with keyboard like some other fixed shooters on other home computers. But I was expecting a bonus level, something extra. There's nothing. I'm actually waiting for Curtis in the comment to say, wait, no, if you get to level 10, then there's an extra bonus round. But no, there's not. You can see we're going to clear the board. It is simply a Galaxian variant or Galaxian clone. The Turbo Fire is kind of cool that you can hold it down, but it's really not that big a deal. This is the 82nd game we played that's a variant of Galaxian. And I don't mean all the other kinds of Galaxians. It's not Phoenix or anything like that. I'm just talking just straight Galaxian. This is the 4th time we played a Galaxian variant on the Coco. So out there we have Galax-Attack, we got Galactic Attack, we have Space Intruders. This one is the 4th one that plays kind of like that. I would say it's a similar fare. I may even say around, it's still around the average range. I wouldn't call this one bad for all the games you could play on home computers, but I wouldn't really call it an exceptionally well done or good game. But yeah, average is what I'm thinking for all the games you could play right now on home computers. There we go, yep. And then I got some ratings already flying in. Mostly averages, 2.5 stars, 2.5 to 3 for all the games you could play. I'm thinking that too, 2.5 to 3 stars for all the games you could play across all home computers. It does have a high score table, which is a nice touch. Thank you for playing Birds. You're welcome. Yeah, it's okay. I don't really want to call it bad. Anybody in the chat say a bad rating? Did anyone say 2 stars? I don't think so. We got mostly just 2.5s and 3. Yes, it is for the Birds, Manly. Steve saying 3 stars as well, mostly average. I'm going to say 2.5. I won't go as high as 3. There's some other ones. Galax-Attack, I would still say, is one of the best ways to play like a fixed shooter. And there's Centipede, Colorpede, things like that are also out there. So 2.5 stars for Birds. Let's see what our next game is. Our next release is for the very underrated, very, very small release console, the Emerson Arcadia 2001. This is Blackjack and Poker. We're in for some riveting gameplay now. Here's the box for Blackjack and Poker. This is the 24th game we've seen for the Emerson Arcadia 2001. And I mentioned it before, this console is known by lots of names depending on what region you come from. In America, it was Emerson Arcadia, but then Bandai Arcadia, and it was several regions had different names for it. This box is a reconstructed box because it's really hard to find the actual scans for this console. This one's done by, I think, Screen Scraper. It's got a really blurry image on the front, but I like the first boxes we saw on the Emerson Arcadia 2001 because they went for a similar aesthetic to Atari and Intellivision and Odyssey, but they did like a watercolor to make it a little different. So you can see we're obviously going to play Blackjack and Poker. You flip this over on the back, and it is not a real box. They just gave us a couple screenshots. Do we have anything else for Blackjack and Poker? It is a cartridge. There we go. There's the console, the Arcadia 2001. To refresh your memory, what you're going to be holding in your hand when you play Blackjack and Poker. This one is the 25th time we've played Blackjack, Video Blackjack, and the 13th time we played Video Poker so far on Chronologically Gaming. We had Poker Plus and Casino on the Atari VCS, Las Vegas Poker, Blackjack was also on the Intellivision. So consoles have already had this. So this is the first time this console has had anything. So let's see what it's like. There's the example of the cartridge or a fabrication of it with the screenshot. Not too much there, but the manual hopefully will tell. There's a better picture. Nice. Bust out the cigars, and looks like mostly blackjack on the front. Cool. Tells us what the game objective is and what the screen looks like. You can play, I think, 5-card and 7-card stud for poker. No draw, though. It explains the game objective here. If you've never played blackjack before, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be teaching you how to play blackjack. But they do have poker. It explains what the hands are like. Very, very helpful. When we saw this originally on the Atari VCS, I didn't really give it its due. Most casino games or gambling games, we breezed by them, and we're going to breeze by this one as well. But I'm giving this one even more attention than I did on those. Maybe when we see them again on the backlog, I'll play them a little longer. So this manual is from another region. That's why you can see the controller looks very different. But it's explaining what to do. I don't believe there's an overlay. No, there's not. You just use the numbers. So there's no overlay to slide over the top. You just have to memorize, know the numbers to play. Yikes. A really, really tricky one. And I think it says the same thing. The joysticks are not used for this cartridge. Yet another video game on the Arcadia 2001. The console has joysticks, but no, you don't use them. Just throw those joysticks away, kids. You don't need them at all. And yes, Jeremiah, there is no such thing as Texas Hold'em. At least we're not going to see Texas Hold'em in video games for a long time. Very, very simple concept and idea. All right, so yeah, this is just breaking down all the things and ways you can play for 5-card draw or 5-card stud, 7-card stud, and then blackjack. And then these manuals, for some reason, have an operation flow diagram at the end. I'm not sure. All right, let's pop in that cartridge and play Blackjack and Poker by Emerson Radio Corporation in the beginning of December 1982. Where were you in December 1982? Well, I was playing Blackjack and Poker on the Emerson Arcadia. Okay, so you can see I can switch between player 1 and player 2, which is kind of cool. If you do 2 players, you'll take turns playing blackjack, but you're not able to take turns playing poker. I don't think it works. But you can also do a switch between blackjack, 5-card, or 7-card stud. Let's check out blackjack and see what it's like. The game starts and you can decide your wallet. So if I want to do like 5,000, it lets me, right? Yeah, if I want to 5,000, what kind of bet can I do? 20? It starts the bet. Oh, we got a 20? That's nice. So if you want to stand, we stand at 20. Stand. Oh, I lost already because the dealer had blackjack. Well, dealer always wins. Let's bet 50. Going again. Got 14 or 4. Sure, I'll hit that. 10. Sweet. Stay. Yeah, and we already won it. Really simple idea. You get the idea of how it works. The presentation for this one's very simple. So for video game blackjack we've played at this point, I still say Ken Uston's Blackjack and Poker, the one we played on home computers, is the best of the best. It is not only a very well presented game for blackjack and poker, it's teaching you how to play almost as if you could play it nowadays. It's that good. So this one isn't really doing that many favors. But if you want to see the other version, I didn't do a reset. We just yanked the cartridge out and then popped the cartridge back in to play. I'm already seeing a rating from James throwing out, 2.1 because it's blackjack, right? All right, so let's see what, let's do a 7-card stud game and see what that one looks like. Give me $1,000 in my wallet. Oh, interesting. So now that you see the first 2. All right, so yeah, we'll call you at 2. He raises it. Sure. You can see the pot shows up in the middle. Why is the computer is raising so high? So if you play with another person, you can see how they would make this work, I guess, for stud, where I guess you can play a 2-player stud game because they're keeping 2 of the cards until the end, which is kind of interesting. All right, so let's do bet that one, raises it and calls. Nice, we got 2 pair. Let's go in big, 90. I think the only highest you can go is 99, and he folded after that. With our 2 kings, we destroyed them. So there you go. That's just a quick example of what it's like to play blackjack and poker, I kind of could figure that out. It still is bizarre to me, though, playing on a home console without use of the joystick. So it's, of all the games you could play on everything across all home consoles, there's other versions or better ones to play. I highly recommend the Intellivision version if you want to play some blackjack, but we're going to see later console games that do it really well too. Let's see, we got most people saying 2.5 stars. Yeah, for video games on home consoles, even if this was the best blackjack and poker, I wouldn't see myself rating it that high. The one we played recently on the ColecoVision was really good too. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, that was the Ken Uston one, I believe, too. So we got a 2.5, a 3.5 for not having Texas Hold'em. Nice, Jeremiah. And then 3 for the card game. Yeah, so I'm thinking he's still around average, 2.5. Yeah, 3 stars for a card game, but for everything else you could play across all home consoles, it plays better than the other games we've seen on the Arcadia 2001. I'll give it that. Yeah, and a 2-star, totally understand, Brian. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. Oh, yes, we get slapped in the face with Black Widow, released in the arcade, only in the arcade. This one is the 566th arcade game we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming, and I still love going to the arcade. Here's the advertisement flyer for Black Widow. Oh man, the artwork is awesome. In fact, something makes me think we should have seen this earlier. Black Widow seems like a classic golden age arcade game, and why haven't we seen this already? It feels like it should have been 81 that we saw Black Widow, but no. Here it is, December 1982. First time you could play Black Widow. In fact, some people say 83 was when Black Widow was released. All right, so this one just screams classic Atari marketing, and I love it so much. There's the example of the arcade cabinet, and it's flashy. It's so fun. It is playing into the vector color graphics that it has. It's so good. Oh, yes, you have this one on the... Awesome, Steve. I love it. Yeah, vector graphic time. I am so excited. So this one is by Atari. It is the 164th video game we've seen published by Atari up to this point. And it's the 69th video game we've seen that Atari has published in the arcade alone. Check out that cabinet. Atari is still going. The arcade, if you're more technical, maybe the arcade PCB would excite you. But there's the control panel. It has dual joysticks. 2 joysticks. Oh, it's not 2-player. Oh, no, it is 2-player, but you're going to take turns. You're going to use both those joysticks at the same time. Oh, that is awesome. I am so excited. I love twin-stick shooters. Yes, dual 8-way joysticks. There's the arcade marquee showing off that fantastic artwork. It is so good. Twin-stick shooters are not new to the show. This is the 17th twin-stick shooter we've seen so far with games like Draco, Lost Tomb, and Survivor. Yeah, this is accurately described as a cross between Robotron 2084 due to the left joystick used for movement and the right for firing, and any other color vector game. It doesn't have as many objects on the screen as Robotron 2084, but it gets very intense. I love this. I am so excited. So let's take a look at the manual. We don't have that much information, but I wanted to see what they said Black Widow was for them. So in the operator's manual. And you can see here, this is the manual for the 1983 release. Just a heads up. So people could argue, yes, it is 1983, but I had sources also say December 1982. Oh, yes. This is so cool. So I'm going to just breeze by table of contents, illustrations. Make sure you have all your parts whenever you buy anything from Atari. And then for assembly. So Black Widow challenges you, the spider, to defend your web from mosquitoes, beetles, hornets, and other insects. Use 2 joysticks to avoid or shoot enemies and bugs. Watch out for the grenade, rocket bug, thunder bug, spoiler, and collect the grub stakes for extra points. Skill Step, the Atari feature that allows players to start consecutive games at higher levels, offers players continual challenge. And that's essentially what they did with Tempest. All of the major parts are illustrated there, and it explains it here. Inspecting the game, voltage, blah, blah, blah. All that other stuff. Let's go to the arcade, and let's play Black Widow by Bruce Merritt and published by Atari in the beginning of December 1982. I'll let everyone just bask in the artwork again, because when you first come up to the system, everything around the monitor is also what draws you in. It is so cool. So this game involves the dual joystick control effect. The left joystick moves Black Widow around the web. The right joystick's used for the directional firing. The premise is the player has to move the spider around the web while shooting and avoiding various bugs and collecting bonuses after they're shot. The key to playing the game is based upon the various enemy bugs' powers and characteristics, plus the value of the bonuses that are collected. They have things in here like mosquitoes, beetles, hornets, eggs, and if a hornet grows from the egg, or a spoiler, it has to be pushed off the web, and you get bonus points for doing that. There's also grub stakes that are out there, spoilers which are invulnerable, grenades, and they explode if they're shot. And you can see in the attract mode, they're showing a little bit of it. Tag the grub stakes and pick all those up. There's also a rocket bug that's invulnerable that's out there, a thunder bug, and the bug slayer, which I don't know if they're showing in the attract mode. There's the eggs. Push them off the side. I like how the attract modes are doing that. And the Bug Slayer is kind of like what we saw with the Bubbles, a game by Williams. There was a cleaning lady in Bubbles that was going around picking up the points. Well, the Bug Slayer kind of does that. It's another bug that's going around, and it'll take your points away from you. So you have to beat it to it as fast as you can. All right, so I'm going to zoom this in so we can see a little bit better. I want to be able to see everything. Yeah, there we go. You can see someone has been practicing just a little bit before the show. All right. Let's put, actually, I'll show you the more of the attract mode, explaining how to pick up the points. And the longer they sit on the web, you get less points for it, so pick them up fast. The grub stakes. Man, it looks awesome. Oh, yes. Lord Evil. I play it on MAME all the time. It is so fun. Or at least played a lot of it recently. And then you got the grenade bugs. Yeah, shoot those from far away. Ready, bam. And then they can make a chain reaction. That's so cool. All right, let's put a coin in. And go. And here it is, just like Tempest. We can select the difficulty level. You can see I can pick up to level 21 if I want to. And then you can shoot the other grub stake bugs and collect the bonuses. So move with the left stick and then push start to go. And we're in. Oh yeah, so full freedom of movement with one joystick and the other one. And gosh, it's just, it reminds me of how much I just love twin stick shooters. It plays so well, easy to control. You have, you're just very fast. You can see the other enemy out there. That's the Bug Slayer. He's the other big one that's invulnerable. we scared him off to move on to the next round. But he's going to be picking up points if we take too long. If you're really fast, you can get the bonuses as soon as they drop, which is another interesting feature that you're not just automatically getting bonus. You have to go pick it up yourself. No, push him off. Oh, I should have gone the other way. Quick! Oh, barely. I don't think I got enough bonus points for that. Oh man, but the control is so tight, and it's so colorful. This thing makes people want to go to the arcade. Oh, I thought I had him shot that time. So cool. It draws you in, and it's just a blast to play. Nope, get off of there. Don't want you. And then we got the Bug Slayer back again. Thankfully, he's just in the way. Again, very similar to the concept of the character in Bubbles. We also have now parts of the web we can't walk through. They made them red, and when they're red, you can't pass by. See this red barrier down at the bottom? So there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and while there's not as many enemies on screen as Robotron 2084, it just has a lot of hecticness because of the different enemy types that are out there. Obviously, the big thing drawing us in is the vector graphics, which I've said it before, you cannot emulate vector graphics exactly well. There's lots of bloom effects I've seen with video cards that you can do to try to make it as close as possible, but the best way to play any vector-based arcade game is you got to play it in the arcade. This one is the 32nd vector graphics video game we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming. This is the very first vector-based video game we've seen in the arcade after the Vectrex, the home console, has been released. And it's just beautiful. It's glorious. Man, it's so fun. I already see some people talking about giving it the 5. Yeah, if the other thing I like about this is it is reminding me of the golden age of arcade games. This one feels classic. It feels like we should have already seen this up to this point. And so you can put your high score into the high score table. They make it really easy with the dual joysticks too. Sweet. Pick up those points. Let's go in again. All right, I have a credit. I already had a credit. I didn't need to go in again. So of the 32 games we've seen so far that have used vector graphics, aside from the ones on the Vectrex, color vector graphics has been on games like Space Fury, Tempest, Eliminator, Boxing Bugs, Space Duel, TaxScan, and Zektor, just to name a few of them. And this one is, gosh, it's so good. It's also something I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to go to arcade right now and not have Black Widow. It would just be like they've left something out. Nowadays, you can go to some places that are arcades that are having original arcade cabinets that you can check out, or have them themed based on a certain time period, kind of like we're playing on Chronologically Gaming. And if there was an arcade that was trying to mimic the design of the early 80s in arcade, you got to have Black Widow. It's so good. I'm already seeing ratings thrown out over in the chat, and some really high ones. Anyone say anything lower than 4? Oh, yeah, that's true. The difficulty may be what brings it down, but it's kind of like Robotron 2084. It's very, very hectic, very fast, but you'll begin to learn how to play, because whenever you play long enough, you start to get used to the dual joystick control, being able to move and shoot at the same time. Oh, did he hatched right there? I don't believe it. Just remember, get your spider out of the way. Get that Black Widow out of there. Did he get stuck on the side? Okay, he did. Good. And then you gotta also maneuver your way around. It starts to slowly build up a... It feels like almost a maze, just a little bit, not too much like all the others what we've seen. So I already mentioned the twin stick shooter. This is the 34th video game we've seen that is utilizing dual joysticks. Not every dual joystick game is a shooter, and so this is the 11th video game in arcades that has utilized 2 joysticks to play. Games like Mars or Splat or Tutankhamun. It was a little bit more limited. Oh, he's going to hatch. No! I'll just run away from him. Sweet. Or Rescue was another really good one. Oh, see, I lose concentration for 1 second, and then the bonus flies by. Also, the shot pattern you have for this one is... It feels like you have a burst of shots, and then they stop for a sec. And you can see here, as the difficulty ramps up, I only have a limited spot where I can move around because I can't go where it's red. Oh, and the other bug blew me apart. I do consider this one a variant of Robotron 2084. It's the 7th time we've seen a video game that is a variant of this. The theme, though, is completely different than Robotron 2084. We've already seen games like Arena 3000, Metamorphosis, Videomania, and Robot Battle, but all of those are at home. In the arcade, Robotron 2084, I guess the other one would be Draco, it would be another example. But man, oh man, Black Widow is so fun. I love a challenge, and while it's not everyone's cup of tea if it's a very difficult game, Black Widow is a staple of the arcades. Looking over in the chat, I do see 4.5s, a 4 from, a 4, and then a 4.5, and then 5 from Brad. Steve saying a sleeper 5. I like that. 4 to 4.5 from Curtis. Yeah, great graphics. It's very, very addicting, highly playable, and it's a pick up and play one, and you're not going to be seeing later levels. You notice you could pick the level you wanted. You could go to level 21 if you wanted to start that way. But yeah, I'm thinking 4.5 to 5 stars of all the games you could play in the arcade right now. This is top tier. One of the best arcade games you could play up to this point. Now, I originally gave Qbert, when we saw it, 5 stars because of how iconic it was. It's a little bit more popular, and it's another staple of the arcades. I consider the same for Black Widow. Oh, I really want to go 5 stars for this one of all the ones. I actually didn't play this one until much later. I got a chance to play it in the arcade in late 80s, which I'm sure there may have been some arcades trying to relive the golden age, but I see Marshall throwing out 5 as well. I'm going to go 5 for Black Widow. It's too good to look at. It's one of those arcade games that has excellent sound effects too. That really makes a cacophony of the arcade, and I love it. It's so good. 5 stars for Black Widow. It is that good. All right, that's where we got to put the video game playing on pause, or the arcade gaming on pause, because we don't have any more quarters. I blew them all in Black Widow. We're having so much fun checking out every single video game in order of release here on Chronologically Gaming. And as usual, if you want to see every video game, and we kind of go back and forth between these live shows and the backlog, you can go to a link we have down below, which is our Google Sheet that has every single video game in order of release, and you can find the game you want and just go right to it from there. So next time on Chronologically Gaming, Bosconian in black and white, Bonzo on the VIC-20, Guadalcanal Campaign gets an upgrade, and a brand new game for the Vectrex. That's it for today, and like I always say, bats, birds, bugs, spiders, put them all in my video game. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.